All right, we have finally arrived to Taurus. So, my name is Heather, and this channel is called Underwater Panther. The work I do here sits at the intersection of astro-psychology, moral cognition, shadow integration, and cultural power dynamics. I run multiple long form series exploring how different minds processes values, identity, authority, relationships, and meaning across astrology, psychology, generational dynamics, culture, and consciousness. So, I am working on the polarity masculine to feminine ranking. So, before I show this ranking, I need to slow the room down for a moment. This is not a ranking of worth, morality, intelligence, or superiority. This is a ranking of which archetypes naturally lead with masculine function versus feminine function under pressure. When I say masculine, I mean structure, direction, boundaries, responsibility, consequence, and containment. When I say feminine, I mean integration, attunement, relational intelligence, meaning making, and emotional continuity. Every archetype carries both, but every archetype has a default lead function, especially when systems destabilize. And here's the critical point. When an archetype is forced to lead from its non-native polarity, it doesn't become balanced. It becomes overextended, distorted, or resentful. So, as we move from most masculine leading to most feminine leading, we are not moving from strongest to weakest. We're moving from structure first minds to connection first minds, each carrying moral weight differently and each breaking differently when overloaded. With that clarified, let's look at what healthy versus distorted masculine and feminine actually look like. So, first, I'm going to go over the list and from the most masculine to the most feminine leading under stress. So, we have number one, most masculine, Capricorn, the ISTJ, Saturn, containment and consequence. Number two, Aries, Mars, initiation, force of action. Number three, Aquarius, INTJ, structural ethics and systems direction. Number four, Leo, ENFP, visible leadership and morale direction. Number five, Sagittarius, meaning direction and doctrine pressure. Number six, Virgo, ESFJ, standardization and corrective containment. Number seven, Scorpio, ENFP, power containment internally and control risk when split. Number eight, Gemini, the ENTJ, androgynous bridge, oscillates, can look masculine when detached and feminine when attuned. Number nine, Taurus, the ESTJ, yin, stable but outwardly quiet authority through consistency. Number 10, Libra, the ENTP, relational governance, harmony first outwardly. Number 11, Cancer, the ENFJ, protective containment, but feminine leading via emotional safety. And number 12, Pisces, the INFJ, dissolution, unity, and compassion first. So Taurus, embodied feminine stability. So let me pull up your key card. If I can click the right button. So we've got Taurus, the ESTJ, embodied feminine stability, the anchor of continuity. Why Taurus is ranked ninth. Embodiment follows meaning. Life must be able to rest. Taurus does not appear early in the sequence because stability without meaning becomes stagnation. Before Taurus can do its work, reality must already be named. Truth must be exposed, systems must be repairable, direction must exist, morale must be alive, structure must be holding. Only then does Taurus enter and ask the most human question of all: can this be lived? Before Taurus, reality must be named Gemini. Truth must be visible, Scorpio. Systems must be repairable with Virgo. Direction must exist with Sagittarius. Morale must live through Leo. And structure must hold through Capricorn. All right, so Taurus is not concerned with speed, innovation, or disruption. Taurus is concerned with whether life can actually remain inside what has been built. whether bodies can rest, whether nervous systems can downshift, whether value can be preserved without constant vigilance. Civilizations do not fail because they move too slowly. They fail because bodies break under relentless pace. Taurus exists to prevent that collapse. I always call Taurus the wall. They cannot be moved and they will work as slow as they would like to work. So, yes. Core function, how Taurus is built. Taurus is an earth sign with a yin feminine leaning polarity, governed by Venus and rooted in embodied cognition. Its intelligence is not abstract or symbolic, it is somatic with earth. Taurus thinks through the body. Core function under pressure: regulate, stabilize, preserve value, and protect continuity. With a cognitive low tone of introverted sensing and introverted feeling, Taurus regulates reality through sensation, repetition, and lived experience. It stabilizes environments not by controlling them, but by making them inhabitable. Under pressure, Taurus does not escalate, it slows. Its function is to regulate, stabilize, preserve value, and protect continuity. Taurus absorbs volatility so others do not burn out. It grounds excess energy back into the physical plane. Taurus question Taurus's question under stress is simple but uncompromising. Does this hold in the body over time? If something cannot be lived, rested in, or sustained, Taurus will not legitimize it, no matter how clever, fast, or inspiring it looks. Moral load, what Taurus carries. Taurus carries somatic moral weight. Its ethics are not ideological or symbolic, they are embodied. Taurus does not ask whether something is fashionable, efficient, or morally impressive. It asks whether it nourishes life or drains it, whether it can be sustained without breaking bodies, relationships, or ecosystems. Taurus morality sounds like: is this sustainable? Can people rest here? Does this nourish or exhaust life? Taurus does not moralize through words, it endures through presence. This is why Taurus is often mistaken for slow, resistant, or conservative. What it is actually doing is regulating the nervous system of the room. Slowing the tempo so life can remain alive. I'm sorry. I've worked with so many Tauruses and I just laugh because I call them the wall. They are the brick wall. They don't care what's going on around them. Nothing is going past them. Like, they're not moving. They are not going to move. They're going to take their time. All right. I'm sorry. I love Taurus so much. I really, truly do. All right. So, how Taurus resists and fails identity capture. Taurus is naturally resistant to hysteria. Slowness protects it. Embodiment grounds it. Repetition gives it instability. My cheeks are hurting. Taurus will not rush decisions just because pressure exists. I'm sorry. I'm an Aries rising, Capricorn stellium, the goat, the ramrod. Y'all constantly tell me to slow the F down. I need that. Thank you, Taurus. Thank you, Taurus. I love it. All right. But Taurus has a vulnerability. It can become captured through comfort. Familiarity begins to feel like safety. Loyalty becomes synonymous with virtue. Endurance replaces discernment. Taurus stays not because it is right, but because leaving feels like collapse. When overwhelmed, Taurus does not pivot, it freezes. What collapses when stability disappears? When continuity breaks, Taurus suffers deeply. The collapse Taurus feels most acutely is the loss of economic stability, intergenerational security, and the belief that effort leads to safety. Without continuity, Taurus cannot relax into truth. Every change feels existential. In this state, Taurus appears stubborn, immovable, or resistant, but internally it is anxious. Change feels like annihilation rather than evolution. Modern distortions arise quickly. Taurus defends broken systems simply because they are familiar. Survival is mistaken for morality. Staying too long becomes proof of goodness. Without stability, Taurus defends inertia. Split risk when loyalty becomes self-betrayal. Taurus splits when staying becomes identity. Endurance replaces discernment. Loyalty is used to avoid grief. The belief forms quietly. If I leave, everything collapses. So Taurus stays, even when staying costs health, joy, or life force. This is not weakness, it is misplaced stewardship. Taurus does not know how to abandon something. It has committed to protecting, even when that thing is already dead. Masculine versus feminine expression. How Taurus feels to others. Taurus men often express stability through physical presence, provision, and consistency. Their authority is quiet and grounding. People feel safe, slowed, and regulated around them. In the shadow, this steadiness becomes possessiveness, emotional immovability, or inertia disguised as protection. Taurus women express stability through sensual grounding, loyalty, value discernment, and nervous system regulation. People feel held, desired, and soothed in their presence. In shadow, they become overburdened stabilizers, carrying safety for everyone, staying too long, and sacrificing themselves to maintain peace and continuity. The core tension for both is the same: stability versus necessary change. All right, so now we're going to move into the 4-point planetary and cognitive architecture. So this is the ego you're looking at. Astrologically, it's broken down hero, parent, child, inferior. Astrologically, it is broken down with the ruler, exaltation, left field, and fall. So why Taurus feels calm until it suddenly won't move. At its core, Taurus is governed by somatic memory, the intelligence of the body remembering what kept it alive. Taurus does not primarily orient through abstraction, ideology, or future speculation. It orients through what has already been lived, what has been proven safe, nourishing, and sustainable over time. This gives Taurus its unmistakable calm and this explains why that calm can harden into movability when threatened. So we have introverted sensing and the lunar moon influence, semantic memory, and safety tracking. Taurus's foundational cognition operates through introverted sensing, strongly colored by lunar principles of memory, rhythm, and emotional safety. This function tracks reality through felt continuity. Taurus remembers not just what happened, but how it felt in the body. Which environments allowed the nervous system to relax? Which routines stabilized life? Which structures made survival predictable? When healthy, this produces extraordinary reliability. Taurus becomes grounded, patient, and deeply trustworthy because it does not abandon what works simply to chase novelty. It holds the line of continuity in a world that constantly accelerates. However, when shadow SI clings to precedent, even after conditions have changed, the body remembers safety but cannot yet register that the environment is no longer the same. Change feels threatening not because it is wrong, but because it is unfamiliar. The past becomes a shield and sometimes a cage. Healthy expression. Taurus embodies grounded wisdom, steadiness, and lived intelligence. It stabilizes families, communities, and systems through consistency. Shadow expression. Taurus resists change flexibly, fears the unknown, and over identifies with how it's always been done, even when life is asking for adaptation. So we have TE and Venus, values built into structure. Taurus's executive function expresses through extroverted thinking, or TE, guided by Venetian values. This is where Taurus turns comfort, beauty, and worth into tangible systems. It builds homes, livelihoods, economies, and routines that make life feel inhabitable. Unlike abstract value systems, Taurus's ethics are practical. Value is proven through sustainability. If something nourishes life over time, it is good. If it drains life, it eventually loses legitimacy. When integrated, this creates ethical stewardship. Taurus manages resources carefully, builds structures meant to last, and understands that prosperity without care destroys itself. Comfort is not indulgence, it is infrastructure. When shadowed, however, TE Venus defends systems long after they stop surviving life. Because those structures once provided safety, Taurus may protect them out of loyalty rather than truth. Comfort becomes justification. Stability becomes an excuse to avoid necessary change. Healthy expression, sustainable systems, ethical resource management, and long term value creation. Shadow expression, defending broken structures, prioritizing comfort over conscience, and confusing familiarity with goodness. NE and Mars, adaptive potential through safety. Taurus's growth function operates through extroverted intuition. Energized by Mars, but only once safety is established. Taurus does not leap into possibility. It tests the ground first. When Taurus feels secure, NE activates as gradual curiosity and steady evolution. Growth happens slowly, intentionally, and with respect for the body's limits. Change is metabolized rather than forced. However, when safety is absent and E stalls, Mars energy turns inward or goes dormant. Taurus delays action not out of laziness, but because movement without grounding feels dangerous. Disruption is postponed until stability returns, sometimes indefinitely. Healthy expression, steady growth, patient innovation, and evolution that does not fracture the nervous system. Shadow expression, avoidance of disruption, chronic delay, and waiting for perfect conditions that never arrive. FI inferior, self worth and moral choice. Taurus's inferior function is introverted feeling, the quiet struggle to choose self worth over endurance. Taurus often ties values to loyalty, reliability, and how much it can withstand. Leaving feels like failure, wanting more feels selfish. As a result, Taurus may stay too long in jobs, relationships, or systems out of a belief that endurance itself is virtue. Guilt arises around change, especially when others depend on Taurus's stability. When integrated, FI teaches Taurus that worth is not earned through suffering, value is inherent. The body deserves care, not just use. When shadowed, FI leads to self betrayal. Taurus endures conditions that erode life because leaving feels morally wrong, even when staying causes harm. Healthy expression, embodied self value, quiet dignity, and the ability to choose well being without apology. Shadow expression, self betrayal through endurance, guilt around change, and sacrificing the self to preserve stability. How Taurus holds the world. System summary. SI remembers what worked. TE Venus builds it into reality. NE Mars adapts slowly and cautiously. FI struggles to choose self over stability. Together, these functions create an archetype that stabilizes life itself, but can lose its soul if comfort replaces conscience. Integrated Integrated role, the payoff. Integrated Taurus is not resistant to change. It is discerning about which change preserves life. Taurus becomes the anchor that keeps civilization from collapsing under speed, abstraction, and constant disruption. It reminds society that systems must feed bodies, not just ideas. That progress without grounding destroys the very people it claims to help. More simply, Taurus holds the body of civilization. Taurus doesn't change their mind, they just build a nicer chair for the decision. All right, so Taurus stabilizes life. Next comes the archetype that must protect life emotionally, where embodiment turns into care, belonging, and emotional safety. So I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave your thoughts and feelings in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.